Julia loved drawing, running, and playing outside, but sometimes she tried to look sad about her hand. She had special red marks on her hand and chest from when she was a baby. The doctors helped make them much smaller, but Julia still felt nervous when people noticed them. "Maybe no one will see it today," Julia whispered. Before school, Julia looked at her hand in the mirror. Mom gently brushed Julia's hair and smiled. Mom said, "Your hand is part of your story, sweetheart. It makes you special." Julia nodded quietly, but she still felt shy. At recess, Julia sat alone drawing flowers with chalk. John ran over happily. "Wow, your flowers are awesome," he said. Julia smiled a little. As Julia reached for the chalk, John noticed the marks on her hand. He looked curious and softly asked, "What happened to your hand?" Julia got sad and looked down. Her tummy felt twisty and nervous. Julia remembered what Mom told her that morning. "These marks are called a hemangioma," Mom had explained. "It's like extra tiny blood vessels that grew when you were a baby. It doesn't hurt, and it's okay to talk about it." Julia took a deep breath. Julia looked at John and quietly said, "I was born with special red marks on my hand and chest. Doctors helped make them smaller." John listened carefully. "Does it hurt?" he asked kindly. "Nope," Julia said with a tiny smile. John grinned. "Well, I think your hand is pretty cool," he said. "It's part of what makes you you." Julia blinked in surprise. Then she smiled bigger than before. Soon, Julia and John were laughing and drawing giant chalk castles together. Julia stopped hiding her hand. For the first time in a long time, she felt proud and free. The next day, Julia showed her drawing to the class. She told them, "Everyone has something special about them." The children smiled and nodded. That night, Julia held Mom's hand. "I was brave today," Julia said proudly. Mom kissed her forehead. "Yes, you were, and your kindness shines brighter than anything on the outside." Julia learned that being different is not something to hide. It's something to celebrate.